Everyone. So we are back and I'm going to show you some fun stuff in my Lightbox. Now, first, I realized that I talked all about cylinders and I told you we were also going to talk about cones. So, with cones, let's see. If you, there it is. Okay, so this triangle, right? So cones, they're a lot like cylinders, but then they're pointy at the top, but the bottom is a circle. So just like this cylinder, the bottom part of my cone would be round instead of straight. Okay, and then the lighting where the like highlight goes down the middle would be just like it would be with a cylinder shape. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that, but we're going to go ahead and take a look in here. And first, let's talk about some of the differences that we see between the rectangular prism and let's see, a cylinder shape, right? Because the sides both have kind of like that rectangular look, right? But the difference between the two is that this has the circle at the top and this has more rectangles at the top, right? So when you're looking at it, it's going to be shaded a bit differently, right? Because if we have, here, let me go ahead. I'm going to get out my phone. Turn off the lights. We ready? Ooh. Okay. So it's kind of harder to see with these. Let's see if I can get this going in the right spot. That's better. Okay. So do you see with this one, there's not really much highlighting. It's kind of hard to see through my camera, but like there's a little bit of a highlight right on this edge right here. But for the most part, we just have like the three sides. And you could see a lot more with like the cubes I used last week. But usually when you have the three sides that show or the two sides, they're just a little bit different in shading, right? One might be darker, like this one, it's darker more on the top. And then on the front and on the other side, it might be a little bit lighter, or it might be like dark, medium, light. But with our cylinder, we don't really have that, right? It's about the same. It's a little bit darker right in that opening of the cup. So the difference, other than the curves for making it look more rounded, the really big difference is the lighting, the highlight, where the light is reflecting off the object. So you can see that right down the middle here, I have that white line. You guys see that? Okay. So if we were shading, right, if we did a cylinder shape, but we just did it one solid color, like we use solid colors for our cube or our rectangular prism, it will look weird. So let's take a look at what that would look like. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and let's take a look. Okay, so I have my rectangular prism, my cylinder shape, and my cone here on this page. Right here, let's do one more rectangular prism shape, or excuse me, cylinder shape. We're just going to make it shorter, so I'm going to skip the step where I do it straight and then curve. I'm just going to go right in. I'm going to add in my curves. Okay. So if we had this one, And I took 3 colors that were kind of related. Maybe I had a dark blue for the top. Right, and I had a black for the side, and then I did like a light blue in the front. You can see that I do it just one solid without any white lines for highlights because those are flat, right? So let's see. I didn't use my Sharpie today. I guess I should have done that. But let's see. Do a lighter blue along the front here. Outline that here first. Realized I've decided to color this at a very awkward angle. Sorry about that. Okay. So you kind of get the idea. It's supposed to be just like one flat color. I'm not leaving the white line for the highlight, and that's because this is flat and not curved or rounded. But when we did our cylinders, we left that white highlight to make it look more rounded. But what would happen if I just did one flat color for the front, right? So maybe I'll just do, like, say, my dark blue. And then, unless my cylinder has an opening and it goes in, if it's just solid at the top and flat on the top, even though it's rounded, it's still flat, right? The sides are what's really rounded. Then what I do is I go in and I do that a flat color each time. Okay, so if that was like black, I did this part. It doesn't quite look as 3D, right? It still looks kind of 3D because you have the like curve at the bottom and the curve at the top, but it wouldn't be quite the same as, like, say if I did this one up here with the flat color, because we're gonna say it's solid, that there's not an opening like a cup. And then I made sure to include that line that goes down. You can even press down hard and get softer and softer and softer and more gentle. Okay, but do you see what kind of difference it makes if you have even just like that little highlight going down your object rather than just one flat color? And that extra piece is what really makes it look more realistic and more 3D. So it's 2D, it's on a piece of paper, but because we added in a highlight of light reflecting on it, it just gives it that extra step to make it give the illusion that it is popping out of the page at you. Right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this aside, and we're going to keep looking at some cylinders. Ooh, it's dark again.